Good evening, sir.
Madam, very good evening. Thank you. Very, very happy to talk to you, madam.
Yeah, me too.
Sir, shall we start?
Yes, sir. Automatically, sir. Fine.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, sir.
I would love to start with a quote of Hans Christian Andersen: "To travel is to live." Good evening, everyone. I welcome and thank you for taking your time to join us for this webinar on Travel, Live Your Life, arranged by the Department of English Aided of PhD College of Arts and Science. A special greetings to our resource person, Dr. Ram Lakshmi. Now, I welcome my friend Rubana to give welcome address.
Good evening to each one of you present today. It is a moment of extreme pleasure to welcome everyone who are present here to attend this webinar. On behalf of the institution, I offer my regards to all the staffs and people joining us. I convey my regards to the chief guest of the day, Dr. Ram Lakshmi, Assistant Professor, Department of EFL, SRM IST. Thank you so much, ma'am, for accepting our invitation and coming over for the webinar. The schedule of the webinar will focus on the topic of travel writing. I wish this conference enlightens and provides us with the ideas to deal with the various cultural heritage around the world. Thank you.
A small cheer and a great welcome makes a merry feast. Thank you, Rubana, for the great and warm welcome. I now request our head of the department, Dr. P. Ilamaran, to address the gathering.
Thank you, my dear young friend, Sivasambhavi. Most respected resource person of this day, Dr. Ramalakshmi Madam, Assistant Professor, Department of English, I'm an EFL SIST, SRM, Ramapuram, Chennai. Though my native is Chennai, I shifted to Coimbatore long back. Hence, I had to fumble whenever I mentioned the name of Chennai because a lot of changes have come across Chennai. So I welcome Madam Dr. Ram Lakshmi and most respected our principal of PhD College of Arts and Science, my learned friend, Professor Palnisamy, the person behind this webinar, my learned colleagues of the department, and my young friends. Today's webinar is a Travel, Live Your Life. Is a kind of a very old canon of literature with dealing that nature writing, adventure writing, exploration, providing a sign of a guide to people who travel from one spot to another spot. And in fact, today's session may focus on the need, the real need, as well as utility, relevance of what actually travel writing is. I feel very happy to hand over the session to Dr. Ramalakshmi Madam because I don't want to talk more. That won't be fair. Thank you, ma'am. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. We would like to introduce the speaker of this event, our resource person, Dr. Ram Lakshmi. I welcome Jasper to introduce our chief guest to the gathering.
Good evening. Our eminent chief guest today is Dr. Ram Lakshmi Swaminathan, an assistant professor, Department of EFL at SRM IST, Chennai. As a road track and drama coordinator, she has helped students in different fields. She has presented a number of papers on varied topics, attended and organized a number of seminars, webinars, and workshops, and has published a number of papers and books. Apart from academics, she is also an avid traveler and has traveled all over South India and has visited Andhra Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, West Bengal, Bagdodra, and Bhutan. We believe your wisdom in the field of travel would help avid travelers among us. We welcome you, ma'am.
Thanks for the detailed introduction, Jasper, that gave us a glimpse of our guest's remarkable career. And now I'm extremely glad to invite our beloved chief guest of the day with courtesy to address the gathering and impart us with the knowledge and experiences. We heartily welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you all. Thank you for the wonderful introduction. Uh, Thank you, your my dear HOD, and my dear friend, Mr. Palanichami. Sorry, I'm used to address him as Palanichami, not Mr. Palanichami. It sounds awkward for me too. Um, right. So I think you were expecting a PPT presentation from me. I'm sorry to disappoint you. I don't have any PPT presentation for you today, but don't worry. I will show you a lot of photographs, and I want you to ask me a lot of questions as well, because it's about interaction, and I gained a lot of information on tour and traveling just through interacting with others. So I hope, my dear friends, you also have lots of questions to ask me. So this is how I wanted to begin. We have two terms associated with that when it comes to travel. We have two terms always. Like one is travel, another is tour. What do you mean by travel, or what do you mean by tour? What is the difference? Could anyone give me a hint? What is travel? What is tour? Any idea? I think I'm used to this blank screen. Okay, traveling is you just go and explore the world, and touring is where you plan. And we have tourist operators who plan for you. You pay them, and they take you here, there, as if you are in a set travel. That's touring. Everything is pre-planned for you. You go here, you watch this, you do that, come back. That's touring. Whereas traveling is like it's not like aimless going destiny, uh, but you go, you explore, you discover. When you discover, you gain the sort of inner experience. That's what I think travel brings to every one of us. And that's why once you start traveling, the urge to travel more and more, it just sprouts in you. Right? And okay, I should not leave literature part here. Being a literature student, I hope many of you must have uh, gone through a great many poems that talks about that speaks about escaping from reality. Of course, travel is one thing which makes you get away from reality, and hope the most famous poem by Matthew Arnold, Scholar Gypsy. Have you read it, guys? Scholar
No,
Gypsy by
ma'am.
Matthew Arnold. Yes?
No, ma'am.
No? No.
No, ma'am.
Okay. That's a pastoral elegy, and you must read it. You must read it. You will love it. The kind of life that he wants everyone to experience, the kind of pastures that he goes through. Matthew Arnold takes you to the place, takes you along with him while he passes through all those places he mentioned in that poem. We call it pastoral elegy, and that's one sort of genre which you might have read, like pastoral elegy, right? It's Matthew Arnold's Scholar Gypsy. Okay, and so many other poems like the Daffodils, the famous Daffodils. What do you think is the first line of the poem Daffodils? Any clue? The first line of the poem Daffodils?
It starts like I wandered alone.
I wandered lonely as a cloud. Remember, it's not like lonely. It's a sort of introspection. It's never lonely. You give time for yourself, for your soul to rejuvenate, to refresh, to recreate, and again we have to come back to reality. And what is this? What is this line from Ode to Nightingale that talks about coming back to reality? I hope you have read Ode to Nightingale, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yep. And what is that line that speaks of coming back to reality?
I think it is about the Nightingale's song, ma'am. Its voice.
Okay. Okay. But there is a song, he after drinking this wine, after consuming this wine, he just travels into the world of Nightingale, and a bell, at all, and he has to come back to reality. He cannot forever dwell back in the world of Nightingale, right? Uh, it's just like traveling through the dreams, take a break, escape from reality, and you wander, you retrospect, you introspect, right? Realize, recreate, refresh yourself, and come back to reality. And yeah, we have to come back to reality. That there's no other go, right? So that's how travel gets, connected with the literature. As a literature people, you must, I say, guys, you should go and enjoy out there. There are plenty of things out there which you read in books. You can actually explore them in reality, right? And when it comes to Tamil literature, I should not stop with English literature. You should know, when it comes to literature, the emotions are universal, and you should explore the literature in your own mother tongue, like Tamil. I think many of you speak Tamil, so I can quote the famous Ponniyin Selvan. Has anyone read Ponniyin Selvan? The beginnings of Ponniyin Selvan by Kalki Krishnamurti.
Yes, ma'am. It
What?
speaks about the starting of the journey by Vandiyathevan.
Yep. It's a travel by Vandiyathevan, and the whole story is being narrated in his point of view as he travels through the banks of River Kaveri. He explores the world. He goes here, he goes there. There are so many travels that's being like listed, narrated in the form of story in Ponniyin Selvan. And there is a particular genre, we call it travelogue. And we do have a parallel in Tamil as well. We call it Payanakatturaigal. And there are a lot of people, a lot of Tamil writers who engage in Payanakatturaigal or travelogues for that matter. If you're interested, you can always go back and look for that in your library. And if you want me to suggest, then I would suggest the one in English, which I love the most. The moment I started reading it, of course, it's not by an Indian, it's by a foreigner. No other than a foreigner could understand a native better than the native themselves. It's William Dalrymple's Nine Lives. Nine Lives by William Dalrymple is one best example for a travelogue where Dalrymple goes to each and every part of India, and he stays, he explores the thing firsthand, and he presented it like he has written it. If you have a chance, try to read Dalrymple's Nine Lives, right? So that's travelogue, the real travelogue. And next comes travel writing again. There are two things, guys. One is travel writing. The another thing is travel literature. The books that speaks of places, the books that describes all the travels that goes into travel literature. Whereas travel writing is writing about the places, writing about the travel, like blogs, vlogs, video logs. You know blogs, right? Do you know blogs?
Yes, ma'am.
Yep. And Yes. Okay. And blogs. Now, the latest is blogs is where you write and you post pictures. Vlogs is actually video loggings and where you actually take videos and you post it in your blogs. Okay, blogs. You write for blogs. You write. You can make a blog, make a script, make a blog, and other than that, you can actually write a book, write an essay, write a column. Just go to place, explore, and write a column in any of the magazines. We have travel magazines. For example, we have airlines. All the airlines have their own travel magazines, guys. Those are very colorful and interesting to read, and they give you colorful pictures of the places that they could take you through their aeroplane. Okay, so try to get that travel magazines and read how things have been written. The genre in which all these travel writings based on is basically descriptive writing. When you describe something, it should come before your eyes. It should persuade you to go and visit the place to watch that thing. So when it comes to travel writing, your writing should be more of descriptive, and your writing should be based on the description of the place, the food, the culture, everything that happens there in a particular place. That goes into travel writing. But as travel literature, you will read literature that's based on travels by different people. The most common is what I said, Nine Lives by William Dalrymple. And we have quite a few more by Vikram Seth, where he actually hitchhiked his all the way from Cambodia to India, Cambodia through China, and then he comes into Nepal, and then he comes into India. Everything only through hitchhiking. You know what's hitchhiking? What is hitchhiking?
Getting lift from strangers, ma'am.
Yes, getting lift from strangers, not even spending a penny. Like that's a very difficult, daring attempt, but he made it possible and he wanted to go as a hitchhiker. And again, when it comes to movies, there are so many movies that I personally like, which goes and discovers places. Uh, right. So I don't want to bore with all those theory part. We can go to the photographs. So where did my travel started first? I think your Sam must have told me. I told you about my various daring adventures. I'm not such a wanderer or such an explorer. I still have to have a lot. You know, the famous Frost poem, and miles to go before I sleep. I think I have more than miles, more than kilometers, a lot to travel before I sleep, before I die, for probably. My travel, it started with my mother. Unfortunately, I could not record any of those travels with my mother. It was not even a travel, it was basically a tour. We could not go alone in those days, like that's before 20 years. We could not travel alone. So my mother and I would go for a tour operator and we go along with the crowd. We don't have places like Ooty or Kodaikanal to go and visit. We go for temples. When you look into the history of temples, history, every city is built, every culture is built on the temples. For example, if you take Tanjore Big Temple, every other art form like agriculture, arts, literature, everything is centered around the temple, is built around the temple. So when you plan to visit temple, do get to know about the culture around the temple. That's one thing. So it started slowly from going to temples, and then when after coming to Chennai, I started exploring with my husband. It's not, we used to travel. And again, guys, I would give you a word of caution. If you want to travel, plan it yourself. Where to go, how to go, what are the things to do, what are the things to watch, enjoy, okay, when to come back. Don't depend on any tour operators. I learned it by experience again. They said we would give you a package tour taking to Munnar, Valparai, no, those hills, those Western Ghats, from one mountain to another mountain, another mountain, another mountain. I literally could not enjoy even one of my day. So don't go for tourist operators. Try to plan your trip. And again, well, I should say this, and of all the planned trips, uh, I should say planned and unplanned, the unplanned were the most interesting. You know, I should again quote words from Ode on the Grecian Urn. Do you remember the Ode on the Grecian Urn? There is a line, heard melodies are sweet.
But those unheard are sweeter.
Yes, that planned trips are better, but unplanned trips are better than the best. I can't even call the best. It's better than the best. It will give you surprises. Uh, you will discover things, and you can. So that's should establish here. Travel, live your life. Guys, we were once nomads, and because every aborigine, every starts with being a nomad, and then they begin, and they then started to settle down. They started exploring the place around them. But basically, we have this nomadic, somewhere in the genes of human beings. We had this nomadic, what do you say, nomadic feel, where that pushes us, that urges us to travel, to discover, to move from your place, to move out of your comfort zone. The same thing, I think it's a bit more in some others, bit low in some people. But this is what I feel. Every one of us have the nomadic gene in us that makes us travel. Um, okay, so I'll go to the photographs, and probably I could narrate my story with the photographs. Uh, okay, first let me start with the educational tour. Uh, okay, I was teaching folklore for students, MA students at WCC, where I thought maybe I could explore some of the folk forms of Tamil Nadu and from some of the folk literature of Tamil Nadu. The one place in Tamil Nadu which will give you details, which had made an extensive discovery on Tamil folk art forms, is Saint Xavier's College in Palayamkottai. They have a special department for folklore and folkloristics. If you are into folklore, you can just approach them. You can take up a paper there and explore it. So once I had been to Tirunelveli, and okay, once I had been to Tirunelveli, and I happened to land in St. Xavier's College, and they had a wonderful museum, guys. Yep. Sorry about it, guys. I could not show any photographs now. Uh, this, I think I can show you this. Can you see this picture here? Give me a yes or no.
Yes, ma'am.
Yep. This is one of those things which I found there at the museum in Museum of Folklore in Palayamkottai. There are so many other things that I don't know how to recognize or where to start with. They are like unearthed or they are collected from various places of, what do you say, various places of Tamil Nadu. So that's how they started gathering all these things. And it was really interesting. This is how the department looks like. You can go and if you are interested in folklore, probably you can go and explore this place. They have a really great library, guys. So this is one of those things. I don't know what do you call this. This is made out of bamboo and strings. I hope no more people are using this pallanguri, one of our oldest games, indoor games. The pictures. The one above is, what is the dance form called?
Kadakali,
What is
ma'am.
it is close to Kathakali, but it's not Kathakali. Any other guesses? It's shown in a movie. I I don't know what you call the movie. Uttama Villain?
Yes, ma'am. It's like Terukut or something.
Yeah, in Tamil Nadu we call it Terukuttu, but in Kerala we have a different name for that. Tayyam. Tayyam or Tayyam.
Okay.
Okay. So right. And this is a man who established the library. If you are into folklore, please don't miss a chance, guys. This is one of those libraries in Tamil Nadu that has a wide variety of books on travel. Folklore, especially the Indian folklore. Right. So coming back. So I was teaching folklore and I wanted some materials for my students. So I had a chance to visit Tirunelveli. And fortunately, I landed on this particular place, which gave me an exposure to this wide variety of folkloristic, the collections they had and the range of books. Apart from these things, if you are into sculpture, painting, drawing, of course, as aesthetic people, English literature people are known for their a wide variety of talents, mixed painting, art, dance, and everything. So there is a place near Tirunelveli, and I hope everyone could go there. It's called Krishnapuram. Krishnapuram is a place near Tirunelveli, which is there's a small temple which holds the I could say the Tirunelveli district's most wonderful sculptures. It runs to some 9 feet tall, and I think that's the only way you could see it. If at all you are not going there, if you can Google it, just go for Krishnapuram sculptures, and you could get two 9 feet tall sculptures. I could not take photographs of that. You are not allowed, but you can explore it on Google, which gives you a 9 feet sculpture of pygmy. How do you call them? Kuravan and Kurati. A Kuravan carrying a and a Kurati carrying a prince on their shoulders. That will be standing on either side of an entrance, and those are 9 feet tall, and you could see the wonderful sculpture in that particular in that particular sculpture, right? So if you are into sculpture, you can always. That's how I discovered the sculpture during my tour. Okay, and the next one which I wanted to show you is the is again in Tamil Nadu. A place not many have visited, a place not many find to be interesting. They just go to the temple, they visit, and they come back. But I happened to experience one of the wonderful moments on a particular day, which was of course a full moon day, the next sunrise. You would never believe this is in one of those villages. Just check this out. Can you see the picture here?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Do you think is it real, surreal, or a painting? I think I can show you some more. This is the place which I was talking about. This is Tiruvangadu, which is somewhere near Pumbuhar. Have you heard of Pumbuhar?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
And Pumbuhar is famous for its beaches. This is somewhere around 5 to 10 kilometers from Pumbuhar, Tiruvangadu, one of those Navagrahas temple. And this is the beach in Tiruvangadu, a pristine, unexplored beach in Tiruvangadu. This is a sunrise, guys. This is real, not even photoshopped. This is real as such. I was standing on the beach and I felt as if I'm in a 3D auditorium, in a 3-dimensional space. The place around me looked surreal. I think it looks the same to you as well.
Yes, ma'am.
This is on the next day of the full moon, the sunrise. And now you can believe with the boat, this is the sunrise there on the beach. This is pristine and explored beach. If you had a chance to visit Pumbuhar, please don't stop with Pumbuhar. Just go to Tiruvangadu, which is like 5 to 10 kilometers away from Pumbuhar, and do explore it on a full moon day. That's when the beaches are lovely. And this is one of those areas, a bit of caution, guys. This is one of those areas which was affected by tsunami. And the fisher folks were the ones living near the beach, and they aren't there anymore after the tsunami. So there are such places even inside Tamil Nadu which can be explored with a minimal, budgets. You can do that, right? Okay, and the next thing which I wanted to show you is my trip to one of those historical places. Not many know of the places in Karnataka. Usually it's Hampi. Hampi is what people talk about. And apart from that, we have Murdeshwar, then again Goa, Bangalore. Those are all the places that were usually spoken about when we speak of Karnataka. But the interior Karnataka holds many mysteries and many surprises for you. One of those is Chitradurga Palace. Have you heard of the name Chitradurga? Have you heard of the name Chitradurga?
No, ma'am.
No, okay. So this is one of the place. I could give you a piece from Mahabharata, where, the Pandavas, the 5 brothers, they go for, you know that, right? There is a piece where Pandavas go and stay in forest for some period. You know that?
Manavasam.
Yeah, the same. Aranyam, Vanavasam. Okay, both are same. So during this phase, there is one particular part where Bhima, one of the five brothers, he fights with his son Gadodkaja in a forest, in a so-called forest, and this place is Chitradurga. If you go to Chitradurga, on the way to the fort, you could see boulders of stones standing. And the local people, they tell you a fable about this part of Mahabharata where Bhima fights with his son Gadodkaja. And when we speak about Bhima and what is shown in Ramanand Sagar's Mahabharata, how do you imagine Bhima to be like? A well-built sumo warrior, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So think of the stone. It's not this sized stone that he used to carry. Imagine a stone of half a ton. You really could not believe, guys. I really could not believe it. It was like this much, like 1 feet, say 2 feet wide and 3 to 4 feet tall. They carry that as if they carry a football or a baseball and they throw it. That's how they fight with each other. And that's how they fought with each other, Bhima and his son Gadodkaja. And you could still see all those stones near Chitradurga Palace. If you have a chance, just go and visit this place. This is in the interior of Karnataka. You have to take a bus from Bangalore to reach Chitradurga. It's around 3 to 4 hours. And on the way, you could see the famous Vishveshwaraya's dam. You know who is Vishveshwaraya? Any guesses? Vishveshwaraya. Any idea?
He's a famous engineer.
Exactly. He's a famous engineer, and one of his constructions, wonderful, magnificent construction of dam is in Karnataka. And you could see the parts of the dam, those machines which we used to open the dam, those being imported from England. His construction is still strong and it's made of stone, complete stone. You have to visit that, guys. It's on the way to Chitradurga. You can stop at Chitradurga, stay there for some time, visit the palace there, and you could take a cab and go around. And there is a wax museum there. There is a zoo, and and of course this Vishveshwaraya's museum. And there are some local temples which you can explore if you are interested in. So I would like to show some pictures from Chitradurga. So this is the fort. This is a part of the fort, which it goes into a cave, and you have to climb the top this way. This is how the rocks are there. It's full of rocks, guys. You cannot see a single stretch of sand or soil. It's full of rocks, and rocks. This is a way we have to climb all over the mountain, and that's how the fort is being built in this region. So each and every rock. Yeah. These are the sculptures. There are not many sculptures though, but these are those two-dimensional sculptures which you could find in the fort. This is the top. There is a temple there. Okay, so this is how the entire place will be like, full of rocks, rock mountains. This is actually inside the fort. Yep. Can you see the stone ball here? That's my husband lifting the stone ball. We used to have something similar in our Tamil culture. Where you have to lift a round stone over your shoe. Louder. Elavattakallu. This is not Elavattakallu though. I don't know what stone is this. Probably one of those stones that being put into, the tank. Yeah, this is the size of the stone. He had carried it. I lifted it. Right. So this is not. It's full of stones, and there are so many school students who come to these places as a part of their school tour, who enjoys visiting this place. And there is one place which is like a deep tunnel. There is a history and a freedom history associated with this. I forgot the story. There's a story, always story, guys. There are lots of stories wherever you go. If you are an ardent traveler, you can gather all those stories and you can publish it for yourself. Okay, and that's with my tour to Chitradurga, which is like an unplanned tour. The next thing, which I think I should not exceed the time limit. Only one more thing, one last thing, which I would show is my trip to Bhutan. I should say there is a big story behind it, but big story short, I wanted to travel to Nepal and I landed up in Bhutan. That's really wonderful place, guys. If you want to be at peace, Bhutan is one country where the GDP is calculated according to people's happiness. Okay, gross happiness is the country's GDP. That's how it's one of those peaceful country where people are so innocent. The whole country is situated between in the valley, and it's the Himalayas, the eastern part of Himalayas, and in one valley we have Bhutan, and the capital is Thimphu. And unfortunately, I did not land up in Thimphu. I went to Paro. That's another valley. Paro, there is one place where I started my trekking. We call it Tiger's Nest. When it comes to Bhutan, we have a lot of things to explore. Of course, travel writing helped me in exploring the places. Travel writing actually helped me to plan my trip, enjoy the food there, enjoy the culture there, and visit the places there. So when it comes to culture of Bhutan, the architecture of Bhutan, I'd like to show something. This is a typical Bhutan house. You can call it a house, you can call it a restaurant, you can call it a shop, name whatever. Every house in Bhutan is of this shape, this architecture. Like it's made of wooden structures, and it has windows like this, doors like this. Even government buildings are built the same way. I really could not differentiate between a government building and a local house, because every house is built the same way. There are so many symbols that are associated with Bhutan. Yep. This is one of those symbols. When you can see it widely everywhere, and this is how the windows would be like. This is from the place where we stayed. Yeah. The doors will be this way, decorated. And can you see the man here? Can you see the man?
Yes, ma'am.
He is dressed in a typical robe. Dress of Bhutan. I don't typical robe of Bhutan. And people, if it is any official occasion, then people, if they are like on work, on duty, then men should wear this robe, and then like our sari and dhoti, these people have their exclusive dress, the country. There is one place which I want to show you. This is again the temple. This is a sort of temple in everyone's house. And these are the symbols they would paint in their houses. And what is this, guys? I want to see if someone is like me. What is this?
It's a touch me not plant.
No. Okay, that's a fern. Fern, F-E-R-N. In Tamil, they call it Teva. And okay, and you can see a lot of prayer flags everywhere. Like our, what do you call that? They have this kind of temple in every corner. This is a temple there. A small temple, not a big one, like our corner Ganesha temple. And this will be the one inside. This is a rotating bell. You can actually rotate this bell, okay? And there is a prayer, there's a chanting that goes like Om Mani Padme Hum, okay? And you can see a lot of prayer flags like this all over Bhutan. Like there are lots of prayer flags, and those are like Buddhist prayer flags. You can see this all over Bhutan. This is one of those rivers there. We had to cross this for our trekking. I'll show one thing and I'll stop. This is on our way to trek to that particular mountain. This particular mountain hosts one of those famous monasteries we call Tiger Nest Monastery. Tiger's Nest, can I see? Yeah, this is Tiger's Nest. That monastery is Tiger's Nest. And you had to trek on the mountain for about 4 hours, and you will come across this. And see, you can see a lot of prayer flags all over, and a lot of people trekking too. And this is a kind of prayer bells which you can see everywhere, prayer bells. Tiger's Nest. Go for Tiger's Nest, and you could find a monastery by that name. Sorry, I don't have any good view of Tiger's Nest. Okay. Those are kids. The Tibetan kids who had come for a tour to a place called Buddha Point. Buddha Point is in Thimphu. Okay, this is how the Buddha will be there, a tall Buddha statue. So I could show my ratio. This is me, and this is the Buddha behind me. So that big is a statue that is called Buddha Point. And you can see that's a wide place, guys. You can see a lot of things there. People used to come there. Okay, so I'll stop here. There are still many things to show you. I think time is not enough, and my computer had ditched me. Well, I stop here, and there's one last trip, the recent I made. My first solo trip. That's when I wanted to meet your professor, Mr. Palanichami, but unfortunately we could not. And so I wanted to explore the world alone. Now that I thought I'm mature enough to explore the world alone. So I started this trip for a camping, for a trekking at Munnar, a place near you. And it was a very good experience. I could say I loved exploring the place. People were so good to me. Being a lone traveler and being a woman, I just want every girl to explore. I mean, not go so far from your parents. Like some places where you could go alone, learn the world around you, watch the world around you, and experience the world around you. So this is sort of living you get. When you feel the air, when you feel the oxygen inside you, then that is when you feel that you are living your life. Through all these travels, either me or my husband, he used to be my travel companion, and all these things we feel we are creating memories. We feel we are living our life. Okay. I want every one of you to live your life, travel a lot, learn things, and you can learn a lot while you travel than while you are inside the four walls. Thank you, guys. I think I stop here. Sangavi or Sangamitra.
Thank you, ma'am. Anita Desai once told, wherever you go becomes a part of you somehow. I would love to say that wherever we go, we take your lessons apart with this. That was a very enlightening session. Thank you, ma'am. And thanks for taking us on a virtual tour. I'm sure that you have sparked an interest for travel in many of our students today. Thank you for teaching the art of travel in the journey of life, ma'am. Now, I open the floor to questions.
I'm expecting a lot of questions from you guys.
Good evening, ma'am. Ma'am, I would like you travel a lot. I have like you showed us a lot of pictures and your travel experience is really awesome. And I would like to ask you a question like, what are the cultural shock you have experienced while traveling to different places, and how did you cope up with the cultural shocks, ma'am?
Well, actually, I didn't show you that part of cultural shock that I met. It was in Hyderabad that I had this shock. I hope you know the EFL University. Have you heard of EFL University, guys?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So EFL University is a place where I wanted to go for a long time, like from 2005. The moment I know of such a university there, and but fortunately I happened to be there in 2010 and 11, and the more recently 2019. Earlier I had watched English movies where men and women, they drink, they smoke, but I had never seen a woman inside a college or inside a university smoking or drinking. So EFL University, that's the first time my being there, and this is one, and it's a small world, guys. It's not in India. Okay, forget that you are in India. Forget that you are in Hyderabad. Think you are somewhere in European country, and then you would cope up with the culture. Cope with the culture. So I late at night, I saw a woman holding a cigarette in one hand and holding a bottle, a liquor. I don't know what that is, but that's a bottle. It's a liquor. That's very much, evidence. And I was like, the usual, the typical Tamil girl in me was like, what is this? A woman sitting in the middle of somewhere and holding a cigarette and a bottle in another hand. That was back in 2010. That was a real cultural shock for me, and I had never seen things like that before. But when you try to imagine that you are not in India, you are not in Hyderabad, you're somewhere in European country, and the language speak, you could hear multiple languages. Okay, I console myself. So you are not in India, so try to accept the changes. They are themselves, like they are their real self. You be your real self. or accept it. I didn't ignore it. That's their culture. They live their life. Who am I to interfere in their life? That's how
Thank
I
you, ma'am.
overcome.
Thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am, good evening, ma'am. Myself, Janani from 3rd B English. Since you travel to a lot of places, you would have faced some language difficulties. How did you overcome them? Whether you know the languages already.
Yeah. I have to warn this, guys. If you want to travel, you should know at least 3 to 4 languages. Uh, well, if you are out of Tamil Nadu, probably to Kerala, you can manage with Tamil. Even with Karnataka, the language does not vary much. I spoke in Tamil and the opponent will speak in Kannada, and we can understand each other. You know, they are like children of Tamil language, you could make out. Even in Andhra, to some extent, you can manage with Tamil. But when it comes to the central part of Andhra Pradesh or Telangana, for that matters, Tamil will be of no use to you guys. You had to speak in Hindi. No other way. And you can learn. People are there to help you. They encourage you to speak in their language and they try to help you in all possible ways. Nobody rejected me, nobody refused me, nobody said to me like, I can't understand you. They tried to help me a lot. And I know Hindi. I speak a little bit of Hindi, which could help me with my travel. And of course, always English matters. People speak English. For example, in Bhutan, they speak Hindi, they speak Bengali, and they also speak English. The cab driver who accompanied us, he spoke to us in English as well as in Hindi. We could manage. And if I want to travel anywhere in Karnataka or Andhra Pradesh, my husband speaks Telugu and Kannada well, so they could manage. Language was not a barrier during our travel.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Ma'am, is it possible to hitchhike in India, ma'am? I mean, there are a lot of things out there, and even with traveling with a large group, it is impossible. Is it possible to hitchhike in India, and which place would you recommend?
Yes, it's possible, but I cannot assure that as a sole female traveler. We have our own difficulties. But if you are a boy, or if like 1 or 2, if you go in pairs or alone, and if you're a boy and girl together, you could hitchhike, but you should have that sort of confidence in you. I should say, like, you should not. No, it's like acting, guys. Like, you should not show the moment when you are in a new place. Of course, people will notice you that you are a newcomer to this place the moment they observe your facial expressions. You should behave as if you are an experienced person in that place. And not all the people are bad. Not all out there are bad. They are there to help you. There are people to help you. And where would you like to hitchhike? I have no idea. Perhaps I would go to, because I have explored, I didn't explore, but I have gone to east part of India. Now I want to go to west part of India, probably somewhere to Rajasthan or Gujarat. Yep, I would like to go hitchhiking to Rajasthan.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Boys? Don't you have boys in the class? Is it all?
Ma'am, good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
I have one question, ma'am. Nowadays, there are so many blogs and travel video logs. Anyone can post it, ma'am. Is that no restrictions? We can find the truth or lie in that, ma'am. So, what do you think about it, ma'am?
Yeah, I wanted to address this too. I plan my travel so based on blogs, like the one to Bhutan. I planned it with the help of so many YouTube videos, so many vlogs and blogs. After making an extensive study, I planned it after that. As you said, blogs give you information, but not that is 100% accurate. First thing, we have so many factors that determine the condition there. First is the climate, the weather, and next is the economy. If any major accident happens, then there will be a lot of different things going on. For example, if you want to enter Bhutan, you have to get a pass, like our visa. Indians don't need visa. They need to have a stamp, a chapa in their passport or a ticket, a valid visa. We call it a pass to go into Bhutan. This is what blogs said to me. This is what I read in blogs. So I was like prepared. Okay, we can go there. We can show our passport, get it stamped, and the next moment we can enter. But the blogs didn't tell us that we have to wait for one whole day to get our passport stamped. Right? Some, of course, we can say 50-50. They speak the truth when they go there. The time when they go there, that's the condition there. They write it as such in their blogs and vlogs. But when we go there, things may change. It's like we have to be prepared for everything and anything that we meet there, that we see there.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, ma'am.
And you have traveled to various places. Now, which one is your favorite, ma'am? That is, to about all the places you travel, which one is your favorite, ma'am? And also, which place is in your wish list, ma'am? Like, you want to travel to that place, either inside India or outside India, ma'am?
First thing, I'm a die-hard fan of India, guys. You would not believe we have a representation of each country out there in India. If you want a snowfall, you have a snow here. If you want to enjoy Africa, we have an Africa in India, in Gujarat. You want to enjoy Tibet, we have a Tibet in India. We want to go to desert, we have a desert. I'm a die-hard fan of India. Actually, I had planned a trip to during Corona, but the Corona came and my plan was like total flopped. I want to travel in a rectangle. I have to start from Chennai to Mangalore, and there is a train that takes you from Mangalore to Mumbai. That goes through almost like 9 to 11 tunnels. We call it, that's a Konkan Railway that goes through 9 tunnels and through fields. That's a lifetime experience, guys. I wanted to travel, start from here, from Chennai to Malabar, to the coast, Mangalore, and then from train to Mumbai. And, the famous Chhatrapati Shivaji terminus, that's the Mumbai Central Railway Station. That's the architecture in itself. And the Gateway of India is nearby. You can go enjoy one day in Mumbai. And I had to travel to Madhya Pradesh. That's a Nagpur station. That's a central point of India. Crossing Madhya Pradesh through train is a wonderful experience. You can see the most of the valleys in Madhya Pradesh while you pass through train. So you can stop there in Nagpur and take a train to Bhubaneswar. So this was my plan. From Bhubaneswar to Chennai. That was my plan, and that was collapse of Corona. I don't have any places. The best is yet to come. This is again a word from one of the poems. I don't know what that is. Like the best is yet to come. I'm waiting for more chances. I'm waiting to discover more. Uh, I don't know why, but Jaisalmer has been in my bucket list for a long time. I had never been to Jaisalmer and Dwaraka. Those two are like my longing, the place in my memory where I want to go. I don't know when that's going to be possible.
Yes, ma'am.
Anything else, guys?
Ma'am,
Yes, Jasper.
Jasper here. Yes, ma'am. Jasper here. You could have had a busy schedule. So, how did you manage to fit in your travels inside
Okay, I
your
got it.
schedule?
Yeah, I got your question. Jasper. There's no thing as busy when you need to travel. I told you that every one of us have that nomadic gene in us that urges us to travel. And that nomadic gene in me, you know, it pulls me out of my house. It's not a busy schedule. It's an escape. It's an escape from reality, just as Wordsworth says. It's an escape from reality. And only when I escape from reality, I can be the sane part of myself. And I have, like, that's when I have time to reinvent myself, to keep myself alive, to live my life. That's when I travel. That's when I want to escape from reality. I find time. How do I put it? I had 4 days holidays. I know I had I had to submit a lot, correct papers, and I cannot have a break. I cannot enjoy a sleep on the floor or comfortable bed. I had to come back to work on Monday morning, but still I will travel because that is when I live. That is when I live. When I perspire, when I sweat, I feel I'm living. I feel I live my life. It's not when I'm monotonous, like a donkey working. No, that's not when I live. If you want to live, escape. Come back. Of course, you have to earn, right? Money matters. No busy schedule for this. If you want to escape, be silent. I didn't say about one of my tours to Mangalore. It started. It's on a Saturday. I started planning by 10 o'clock, and we started by 12 o'clock, and we reached Mangalore by the next morning 7 o'clock. We took a cab. We went to Kollur, Udupi, Murdeshwar. Then we thought, oh, we have to come back tomorrow. Then we booked a flight from Udupi, and I came back to Chennai the next day. It's an unplanned trip, but I found time to escape. Jasper? Guys?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Ma'am, how do you think travel has changed you as a person, ma'am? Like the person you were before traveling and the person you are now?
So there is travel because I have been traveling since my childhood. My mom likes to travel, so whenever she finds a chance, she takes me. I was not a Chennai. My native is Tanjavur Kumbakonam. So she would take me to Velangani. Every year we go to Velangani. We go to our aunt's house. That's where, and she travels. She was a teacher, so she traveled to her workplace. She will always take me there. So there is no before and after travel. Probably before getting into my conscience. First thing, I love to watch vegetation. When I go to Bhutan and when I went to Bhutan or Calcutta, different parts of India, I could say, oh, they have the same plantain. They have the same drumstick here. Oh, they have the same brinjal here. That was my, and they have the food that grows there. I used to watch that. Okay, people are same everywhere. And someone is asking about the language problem. There was a time when I felt shy to open my mouth in Hindi, and I used to speak, the dumb language, food, or the sign language I used to speak. And people, they come forward to help you. They try to help you, and I understood that people are same everywhere. And there are friends of mine who would think of the the small things that bother them, the family duels, the next house problems, the daily life, the college things, that there are things that burden them. But there are people out there who live their lives, they do have their problems, but not so bothersome as we think they are. I don't know how that changed me. There is a term in Sanskrit that goes like Vasudhaiva Kudumbakam. That's a long sloka that ends with the term Vasudhaiva Kudumbakam. Vasudhaiva Kudumbakam means that the whole world is a family. The whole world is my family. Probably I started accepting that.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, ma'am.
From all the trips that you've been to, have you ever regretted going to a place?
No, not at all. Every travel is an experience. Yes, every travel is an experience, and experience is what keeps you alive.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, ma'am.
Ma'am, how do you feel when you wake up in a new place, ma'am?
Sorry?
How do you feel when you wake up in a new place, ma'am?
When I wake up at a new place, how do I feel? Oh, I see. Well, again, I had to talk about Bhutan again. No, not Bhutan. Once we happened to go to Thiruvananthapuram. The point is that we traveled, right? We booked our tickets to up and down from Nagarkoil. That's the place we stopped. Okay. So our plan was to go to Thiruvananthapuram. We don't have any plans. Like we didn't have plan to stay there overnight or so. So luckily we found a lodging near the temple. So we saw the last puja. They call it Arthajama puja or something, Palliyara puja or something. And we saw that and we planned it. Okay, we should wake up next morning and we should see the first puja in the temple. So we found a room next to the temple. We slept there. And usually we are so damn tired. We used to sleep. If you leave us to sleep, we will sleep the whole day. That was our plan. But I had to wake up. All the previous day's plans and all the excitement of watching something new kept me awake. It kept me awake. And the next morning, I am fully conscious. I'm fully conscious that I'm in a new place. I am Padmanabha Swami. I had to wake up, I had to get myself ready, I had to go visit him. I was fully awake. My mind would actually be prepared for the excitement. The serotonin, these are happiness hormones, oxytocin, serotonin, dopamine, all would be in their peak. And they say, wake up, don't sleep. That would be the excitement in me.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Ma'am, one more question.
Yes,
Travel
please.
is very important for our life.
You're asking me that question. It is important. It is mandatory. You should travel. You should come out of your comfort zone if you want to live your life. Life is not about eating, sleeping. My professor used to say, I was born here, I studied here, I went to college there, and I'm working here, and I'm going to die here. Like, it's within his city. He was born in this hospital, he studied in this school, he studied in this college, and again he is working in this college, he is going to die and get buried in this cemetery. That's not life. Go out there.
Ma'am, what about poor people, ma'am? They earn money for their daily wages. What about them?
Have you heard of the traveling couple in Kerala? I hope one of you must have read about them. Traveling couple in Kerala.
They were shown in the movie, right, ma'am?
Okay, they were shown in the movie, but they were even popular before that.
Yeah, they were saving up to go to Mecca or something. Like they used to travel everywhere, all over the world. But they are not rich; they are poor. But they travel all over the world.
What do you think keep them going? What do you think that keeps them going?
Their curiosity and their love for traveling, ma'am.
Exactly. I hope that answers you. They are tea shop owners, not even owners. They sell tea for their life. They save money and they travel.
Yes, ma'am. Understood.
Anyone else?
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for patiently answering to our questions. Now I request Anup to propose the vote of thanks to the gathering, ma'am.
As the saying says, I live with no excuses and travel with no regrets. Warm greetings to one and all present here. I am Janani S. from 3rd BA English to propose vote of thanks. I thank the chief guest, Dr. Ram Lakshmi, for spending her valuable time for enlightening us with her experience. I then extend my gratitude to the management, our head of the department, Dr. Ilamaran, our staff coordinator, Mr. Palanisamy sir, and all the entire staff of the Department of English Aided for their supporting and guiding us. I also extend my thanks to the student friends for their interactive participation and making the webinar a fruitful session. Thank you all.
Thank you. That was a nice interaction. I didn't expect such questions from you guys, but thank you all. And